Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, February 9, 2022. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's games in college basketball, NBA, and the NHL, and look ahead to tonight's games in each sport. Then we'll look back on the Olympic results from yesterday and look ahead to tonight's Olympic games. We'll do some NBA trade deadline chatter, news and notes, and my best bet of the day. We'll start with college basketball. We'll recap the games from yesterday, and we'll look ahead to the games being played tonight. So, without further ado, here we go. FAU over Old Dominion 81-62. Howard over Gallaudet 96-38. North Carolina over Clemson 79-77. Number 24 UConn over number 18 Marquette 80-72. Arkansas upsets number 1 Auburn 80-76 in overtime. Number 5 Kentucky over South Carolina 86-76. Number 14 Wisconsin over number 17 Michigan State 70-62. Evansville over Indiana State 65-56. Rider over Manhattan 76-67. Marist over Monmouth 83-58. St. Bonaventure over Fordham 76-51. Liberty over Lipscomb 78-69. TCU over Oklahoma State 77-73. West Virginia over Iowa State 79-63. VCU over Rhode Island 73-64. St. Louis over LaSalle 75-57. Central Michigan over Ball State 89-85 in overtime. Toledo over Ohio 77-62. Miami of Ohio over Western Michigan 62-57. Kent State over Bowling Green 76-68. Buffalo over Eastern Michigan 102-64. LSU over Texas A&M 76-68. Rice over Jarvis Christian 98-63. UMKC over St. Thomas 76-67. East Carolina over Tulsa 73-71. Syracuse over Boston College 73-64. Akron over Northern Illinois 70-64. Number 15 Villanova over St. John's 75-69. Number 3 Purdue over number 13 Illinois 84-68. UCF over Wichita State 71-66. Creighton over Butler 52-54. Vandy over Missouri 70-62. Utah State loses at Wyoming 78-76 in overtime. Michigan over Penn State 58-57. Northwestern over Indiana 59-51. Number 21 USC over Pacific 74-68. Portland over San Francisco 69-68. Long Beach State over Cal State Fullerton 71-61. UNLV over Air Force 78-44. Number 12 UCLA over Stanford 79-70. Santa Clara upsets number 22 St. Mary's 77-72. Colorado State over Nevada, 82-72. And now we look ahead to tonight. 5 o'clock, you have Columbia and Cornell. My projections here, Cornell 13, total 151.05. Meanwhile, it is 15.5 and 157. Under. 6:30, Hampton, UNC, Asheville. My projection is Asheville 16, total 134.65. Meanwhile, it is 10 and 134. Asheville in the points. Georgia, Florida, SEC Network. My projection is Florida 19, total 141.6. Meanwhile, it's 14 and 144.5. Laying the points of Florida. Number 6, Houston at SMU on ESPN2. My projection is Houston by 5.5, total 137.85. Well, it's 7 and 136.5. I'm going to go here with the slight edge to SMU. Number 16, Ohio State at Rutgers on the Big Ten Network. My projections are Ohio State by 2.5, total 138.3. Meanwhile, this line is 2.5 and 136.5. So slight over for this game. Number 25 Xavier at Seton Hall on Fox Sports 1. My projection is Pick'em in 139.5. Now it's Seton Hall 3.5, total 142.5. I'm going to take Xavier in the points as a road underdog. I don't know if they'll win outright, but it'll be close. Yale, Harvard. My projection is Harvard 1.5, total 142.15. Meanwhile, it is 1 and 140. Slight over. Army and Boston University. My projection is BU 7.5, total 1378. Meanwhile, it is 6.5 and 139.5. Slight under. Loyola Maryland and Holy Cross. My projection is Loyola by 4.5, total 135.7. Meanwhile, it is 4.5 and 132.5. Over. Cincinnati and South Florida. My projection is Cincinnati 12, total 127.25. Meanwhile, it's 7 and 124.5. I'm going to lay the 7 with Cincinnati. Lehigh and Colgate. My projection here is Colgate by 15.5, total of 141.65. Meanwhile, it is Colgate by 12.5, total 144.5. I'm going to lay the points of Colgate. American and Bucknell. My projection is a pick'em and 142.65. You know, it's Bucknell 4.5, total 137.5. Over. Radford Winthrop. My projection is Winthrop 19.5, total 138.4. Meanwhile, it's, let's see here, 9.5 and 135.5. I'm going to lay the points with Winthrop against Radford. High Point and Presbyterian. My projection here is Presbyterian by 6, total 135.85. Meanwhile, 2.5 and 128.5. Over. Charleston Southern and NCA&T. My projection is NCA&T by 17, total 138.6. Meanwhile, it's 9.5 and 141.5. Laying the points. Gardner, Webb, and Campbell. My projection is Campbell 8.5, total 131.95. Meanwhile, 1.5 and 127.5. I'm laying it with Campbell. That's low. ACC Network, Wake Forest, NC State. My projection is Wake by 4, total 149. Meanwhile, it is 3.5 and 152. Under. Georgia Tech and Miami. My projection is Miami 9.5, total 142.15. And it's 8.5 and 140.5. Slight over. Louisville, Notre Dame on ESPNU. My projection is Notre Dame by 6, total 136.85. Meanwhile, it's 7.5 and 135.5. Slight lean to Louisville. NJIT in New Hampshire. My projection is New Hampshire 12.5, total 134.45. Meanwhile, we got here 8 and 130.5. I'm going to lay to 8 with New Hampshire. Emus Lowell and Stony Brook. My projection is Stony Brook by 7, total 138.4. Well, it's 4.5 and 140.5. I'm going to lay the points with Stony Brook. Maine and Albany. My projection is Albany 11.5, total 129.2. Well, it's 13.5 and 125.5. Over. Hartford UMBC. My projection is UMBC by 10, total 142.4. Meanwhile, it's 6.5 and 145.5. Laying the points. Binghamton and Vermont. My projection is Vermont by 23.5, total 137.3. Meanwhile, it's 17.5 and 137.5. Laying the points. Bellarmine and North Florida. My projection is North Florida as a 6-point underdog, total 138.6. Meanwhile, it's 2.5 and 137.5. I'm related to 2.5 with Bellarmine. Eastern Kentucky and Jacksonville. My projection is Eastern Kentucky by 1, total 137.65. Meanwhile, it is Actually, Jacksonville by 4.5, total 136.5. I'm going to take Eastern Kentucky plus 4.5 and plus 190 to win outright. Oakland and Youngstown State, my projection is Oakland by 2.5, total 141.8. Well, it's 3.5 and 142.5. I'm going to go with... Oakland's a one... Or no. Oakland by 3.5, total 142.5. A slight lean to Youngstown State. Detroit and Robert Morris. My projection is Detroit by 7.5, total 141.4. Meanwhile, it's 2.5 and 140.5. I'm laying the 2.5. George Washington, UMass. My projection is UMass 9.5, total 146.2. Meanwhile, it's 8.5 and 152.5. Under. Richmond, George Mason on CBS Sports Network. My projection is Richmond 9.5, total 140.9. Meanwhile, it's 1.5 and 137.5. I'm laying the points of Richmond. Duquesne, Dayton. My projection is Dayton 19.5, total 133.55. Meanwhile, it's 13.5 and 128. Laying the points. St. Joe's, Davidson. My projection here is Davidson 17.5, total 142.05. Now it's 10.5 and 145.5. Laying the points. Western Carolina and Chattanooga. My projection is Chattanooga by a whopping 25.25, total 145.05. Meanwhile, 17.5 and 143.5. I'm laying the points. Quinnipiac and Fairfield. My projection is Fairfield 7.5, total 140. Meanwhile, this line is 4.5 and 140.5. I'm laying the points. Maryland, Eastern Shore, and Delaware State at 7:30. My projection is Delaware State by 3, total 134.25. Meanwhile, it is Maryland, Eastern Shore by 7.5, total 129.5. I'm taking Delaware State plus the 7.5 and plus 250 to win this game outright. Jacksonville State and Stetson. My projection here is Jacksonville State by 8, total 138.8. Meanwhile, it's 6.5 and 133.5 over. Central Arkansas and Kennesaw State. My projection is Kennesaw State by 6.5, total 149.4. Meanwhile, it's 10.5 and 150.5. I'm taking Central Arkansas on the points. North Alabama and Florida Gulf Coast. My projection is Gulf Coast 11.25, total 141.2. Meanwhile, 7.5 and 140.5. I'm laying the points. 8 o'clock, number 10 Baylor at Kansas State. My projection is Baylor 15.5, total 135.5. Meanwhile, it is 6 and 136.5. I'm laying the points of Baylor. Tulane, Memphis. My projection is Memphis 12.5, total 145.3. Meanwhile, it's 10 and 146.5. Slight Memphis. Wright State, Green Bay. My projection is Wright State 19.5, total 139.5. Meanwhile, it's 8.5 and 138.5, laying the points. Northern Kentucky and Milwaukee. My projection is Northern Kentucky by 4.5, total 137.9. Meanwhile, it's 2.5 and 137.5. I'm laying the points in Northern Kentucky. Southern Illinois and Northern Iowa. My projection here is Northern Iowa by 8.5, total 134.15. Meanwhile, it is 7 and 132. Over. Valpo, Indiana State. My projection, Illinois State. My projection is Valpo 2, total 147.1. Meanwhile, it's Illinois State by 4, total 143.5. Give me Valpo plus the 4 and plus 150 to win the game outright. Missouri State and Drake. My projection is Drake 7, total 143.35. Meanwhile, it's 2.5 and 143. I'm laying the points of Drake. Wofford, Sanford. My projection is Wofford 1.5, total 143.8. Now it's 3.5 and 145.5. I'm going to go with Sanford getting 3.5. 8:30 SEC Network, Alabama, Ole Miss. My projection is Bama by 5, total 144.4. Meanwhile, it's 6 and 144. Slight Ole Miss. 9 o'clock, ESPNU, number 9, Texas Tech, Oklahoma. My projection is Texas Tech by 3, total 134.05. Meanwhile, it's 3 and 127.5 over. Number 19, Tennessee at Mississippi State on ESPN2. My projection is Tennessee by 5, total 138.7. Meanwhile, it's 1 and 135, laying the 1. Georgetown, DePaul on Fox Sports 1. My projection is DePaul by 5, total 145.45. Meanwhile, it's 8 and 144.5. Give me Georgetown the points. Wow, I didn't think DePaul would be that big of a favorite. Pitt, Florida State on ACC Network. My projection is Florida State by a whopping 21, total 135.35. Meanwhile, it's 10.5 and 130.5, laying the points. Loyola Chicago Bradley on CBS Sports Network. My projection is Loyola by 11 and 3/4, so 136.3. Now it's 4.5 and 131.5, laying the points. Big Ten Network, Minnesota, Nebraska. My projection is Minnesota by a half, total 143.7. Meanwhile, it's 2 and 143.5. Slight lean to Nebraska. 11 o'clock, Cal, Oregon State on ESPNU. My projection is Oregon State by 2.5, total 137. Meanwhile, it is 1 and 132.5 over. And on CBS Sports Network, San Diego State, San Jose State. My projection is San Diego State by 20 1/4, total 129.35. Meanwhile, it's 14.5 and 124.5. I'm going to lay the points with San Diego State. All right, now move on to the NBA. We'll recap the games from yesterday and look ahead to the games for tonight. Suns over the Sixers, 114-109. Hawks over the Pacers, 133-112. Celtics over the Nets, 126-91. Grizz over the Clippers, 135-109. Pelicans over the Rockets, 110-97. Mavs over the Pistons, 116-86. Nuggets over the Knicks, 135-115. Bucks over the Lakers, 131-116. And the Magic over the Trailblazers, 113-95. Oh, and Timberwolves over the Kings, 134-114. Now we look ahead to the games for tonight. 7 o'clock, you have the Spurs and the Cavs. My projection is Cleveland 7 3/4, total 215.8. Meanwhile, it's 7 and 219. Under. 7:30 ESPN, Bulls Hornets. My projection is Charlotte by 3 1/4, total 224.75. If I had to guess who calls this game, I'm going to say it's probably going to be like Mark Jones, Ryan. I feels like Ryan Rucco, Doris Burke, Ryan Rucco, Hubie Brown, maybe. 3 1/4, total 224.75. Meanwhile, it's Bulls by 3, total 231.5. Not falling for the same trap again with Charlotte, giving the under. 8 o'clock, the Raptors and the Thunder. My projection is the Raptors by 10.5, total 211.85. It's 9.5 and 209. Over. 10 o'clock, ESPN, Warriors Jazz. I think this is going to be Mike Breen and Mark Jackson. Makes sense for Breen to do this game. The Knicks are on the West Coast, and the Knicks are off. So I could see Mike doing this game. My projection is Jazz 1, total 217.35. Meanwhile, it is 3 and 221.5. Under. Lakers Blazers. My projection is the Lakers by a whopping 14 1/4, total 221.75. Meanwhile, it's 8.5 and 225.5. I'm going to lay 8.5 with the Lakers, and then the Timberwolves and the Kings again for the second day in a row. My projection here is Wolves by 7, total 223.95. Meanwhile, it's 9 and 233.5. Under. All right, now move on to the NHL. We'll recap the games from yesterday and look ahead to the games for tonight. Sens over the Canes 4-3, Pens over the Bruins 4-2, Devils over the Habs 7-1, Jackets over the Caps 5-4, Jets over the Wild 2-0, Golden Knights over the Oilers 4-0, and the Canucks over the Coyotes 5-1. All right, 6 games tonight. 7 o'clock, you have the Red Wings and the Flyers. Flyers minus 114, Red Wings minus 105, over under 6, overs minus 108, unders minus 112, Red Wings plus 1F is minus 290, Flyers minus 1F is plus 225. I'm going to go Ooh, this is a tough one. I think this. This feels like Vegas knows. Give me the Flyers minus 114. 8 o'clock TNT Predator Stars. That's a decent game. I have here on FanDuel Dallas minus 120. Preds even money over under 5.5. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Preds plus 1.5 is minus 280. Dallas minus 1.5 is plus 220. I'm fascinated to see who's calling this game because Kenny Albert, I believe, is in the Olympics right now. And so that would mean somebody different is going to be calling one of these games on TNT. I don't think it's going to be like Kevin Harlan. I don't think it's going to be... Is it going to be Brian Anderson or Ryan Eagle, maybe? Are they going to take somebody else's announcer? So let's see here who's calling these games for tonight. Oh, it does say Kenny Albert, Eddie Olczyk, Keith Jones. So I wonder if Kenny Albert is doing the games from a studio and isn't doing them from the Olympics. So, yeah, I guess he was going to do double duty and he'll just call the Olympic Games from Connecticut or wherever. So for this game, I'm going to go with the Preds as a road dog at even money. Blackhawks, Oilers. Oilers minus 184, Blackhawks plus 150, over under 6.5. Overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Blackhawks plus 1.5 is minus 170. Edmonton minus 1.5 is plus 138. I wonder if this was supposed to be the TNT game. They just took it off because the Blackhawks are so bad. Not inconceivable. So this is a tough one. I'm going to go with the Oilers in regulation at minus 115. 9:30, Golden Knights, Flames. Flames are minus 132, Vegas plus 110, over under 6, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Vegas plus 1.5 is minus 250. Calgary minus 1.5 is plus 198. You don't see very often where the better team's the underdog. That's here to give you Vegas. Coyotes, Kraken. The Kraken are minus 230. Arizona's plus 188. Over under 6. Overs minus 108. Unders minus 112. Arizona plus 1.5 is minus 144. Seattle minus 1.5 is plus 118. I'm going to go with the over in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. And last but not least, 10:30 TNT, the Islanders and the Canucks. Isles minus 115, Canucks minus 104, over under 5.5, overs plus 122, unders minus 150. Isles minus 1.5 is plus 240, Vancouver plus 1.5 is minus 310. I just think that Vancouver is a team that's under some pressure to win some games here. And I think that they will continue to do so as they sit 4 back of Calgary for a final spot in the postseason. Well, the Islanders are out of it in the East. So give me Vancouver minus 104 as a home underdog here. All right, now we'll do Olympics. We'll recap the events from yesterday and look ahead to stuff going on tonight. I apologize if I repeat some of the results from yesterday in advance. All right, alpine skiing from this was yesterday here, but was technically Wednesday in China. Men's Super G gold medal event. The bronze going to Alexander Amat Kilde of Norway. Silver Ryan Cochran-Siegel of USA, and gold, Matthias Meyer of Austria. Biathlon, men's 20-kilometer individual, bronze going to Johannes Thinges Bo of Norway, the silver going to Anton Smalski of Belarus, and the gold going to Quentin Fillon-Maillet of France. Cross-country skiing, women's sprint free final gold medal event, bronze going to Jessie Diggins of USA, silver Maja Dahlqvist of Sweden, and gold Jana Sundling of Sweden. Men's sprint free final, bronze Alexander Terentsev of Russia, Italy's Federico Pellegrino at the silver, and gold going to Johannes Hofstra Kalebo of Norway. Curling gold medal game, Italy over Norway 8-5, and the bronze medal in game, Sweden over Great Britain 9-3. Figure skating, men's single skating short program finished. Freestyle skiing, women's free ski big air final run 3. Bronze going to Mathilde Gurmand of Switzerland. The silver going to Tess Ledoux of France, and the gold going to Eileen Gu of China. Hockey, women's prelim Group A, Canada over US 4-2. We did already. Finland over ROC 5-0. And in Group B, Japan over Czech Republic 3-2, and Sweden over Denmark 3-1. Luge, women's single runs 4, gold medal event, bronze going to Tatiana Ivanova of Russia, silver going to Anna Bertier of Germany, and the gold going to Natalie Giesenberger of Germany. Nordic Combine, the Gunderson Norman Hill 10-kilometer official training is done. Skeleton, women's and men's official training heats 3 and 4 done. Snowboarding, the women's and men's parallel giant slalom big finals. Women's bronze going to Gloria Kotnik of Slovenia. Silver going to Daniela Olbing of Austria, and the gold going to Esther Lebecka of Czech Republic. And in the men's side, bronze going to Victor Wild of ROC, silver Tim Mustank of Slovenia, and the gold going to Benjamin Karl of Austria. Speed skating, men's 1500 meter. Bronze, Minsuk Kim of Korea. Silver, Thomas Korl of Netherlands. And gold, Kajed Nieuws of Netherlands. And then, this would be this morning and last night, which would be the morning results for today out there in China. So, alpine skiing, the Yanqing National Alpine Skiing Center technical was location. The women's slalom run 2 final, bronze going to Wendy Hollander of Switzerland. Silver going to Katharina Liesenberger of Austria, and the gold going to Petra Volova of Slovakia. So curling, men's round robin session 1, we have a final, Denmark over Canada 10-5, and in progress right now, US over ROC 5-4, Norway and Switzerland in a 4-4 tied, and Sweden over China 5-4 going on right now as we speak. So it's 8 o'clock at night out there right now, or 10. Because it's 13 hours ahead. Freestyle skiing gold medal event, men's free ski big air run. Bronze, Henrik Harlot of Sweden. Silver, Colby Stevenson of USA. And the gold, Berk Ruud of Norway. Men's hockey, ROC over Switzerland 1-0, and then going on right now is Czech Republic and Denmark, as Denmark has a 2-1 lead. Luge, right now, doubles run final. So LeBron's going to Austria's Lorenz Kohler and Thomas Stew. Silver going to Sasha Benkin and Tony Eggert of Germany, and gold Tobias Arlott and Tobias Wendell of Germany. The Nordic Combine. Individual Gunderson Normal Hill 10-kilometer cross country gold medal event. Bronze going to Lucas Greidreyer of Austria. Silver Georgian Grabach of Norway, and the gold Vinzenz Grieger of Germany. Short track speed skating men's 1500 final A gold medal event. Bronze Semen Lastrov of Russia. Silver Stephen Dubois of Canada. Gold Taehan Hwang of Korea. Skeleton women's and men's official training heats 5 and 6 done. Ski jumping men's large hill official training 1 done. Snowboarding, the women's snowboard cross big final. The bronze going to Marita Odin of Canada. Silver Chloe Trepuche of France, and the gold going to Lindsay Jacobellis of USA. And tomorrow during the day in Beijing, which would be tonight, our time. So we have a gold medal event tonight in alpine skiing, the men's alpine combine slalom, which will be preceded by the downhill. The bobsleigh we have tonight. The two-man official heat trainings 1 and 2, and the women's monobob official training heats 1 and 2. Cross-country skiing, gold medal event, the women's 10-kilometer classic. And that is going to be at 2 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time. Curling, a lot of curling tomorrow. Which would be 9 a.m. there, 8 o'clock p.m. here. Women's round robin session 1. Great Britain, Switzerland, Denmark, China, Sweden, Japan, ROC, USA. Men's round robin session 2. USA, Sweden, Norway, Canada, China, ROC, Great Britain, Italy. Women's round robin session 2, which would be at 7 o'clock a.m. our time and 8 o'clock p.m. out there. Canada, Korea, Sweden, Great Britain, U.S., Denmark, and China, Switzerland. Figure skating, gold medal event, men's single skating, free skating. So that is going to be very fun to watch. I'm looking forward to see who wins gold there. Freestyle skiing, we have the mixed teams aerials final, gold medal event. Men's hockey, we have 12 o'clock midnight our time, and then which is going to be out there, which would be 11 a.m. or that would be 11 p.m. Also, Beijing time would be 12 in the afternoon. Our time would be late, like 11 o'clock at night. Men's prelim round C, Sweden and Latvia. And then Finland, Slovakia. And then in Beijing at 8 o'clock in the morning, men's prelim group A, U.S., China, and Canada, Germany will be going on simultaneously. In luge, we have a gold medal event, team relay competition, skeleton men's heat 1 and 2. Sky jumping, you have men's large hill official training. Snowboarding, we have women's snowboard halfpipe final run 3 gold medal event, and the men's snowboard cross big final. And then in speed skating, we have the women's 5,000 meter gold medal event for speed skating. All right, now we're going to do some trade deadline chat a little bit before news and notes. So there's some pressure on the Lakers to make a move, as some players have admitted the roster is not working and something must be done to get team back on course. This sounds like LeBron speaking for me. The Blazers are eyeing Jeremy Grant after dealing McCollum and Powell. So they would have to throw in those assets to get Grant in theory. So they would have that another piece to go with Dame. And then we talked about the big trades from yesterday on a special show, which I dropped last night, which sent CJ McCollum to New Orleans and Domantas Sabonis to Sacramento in what were shocking trades, to say the least. And tomorrow's the big day, obviously. I'm going to do a recap show on Thursday night to recap all the deals. So now the wait's on for Ben Simmons, see if he's traded within the next 24 plus hours. I don't think we'll see Bradley Beal traded because he's out for the year. It looks like. We'll see if some other guys could potentially get moved, like what continues to happen in Indiana. Will James Harden get moved? Probably not. So it's going to be very interesting to see what these teams do. Teams under pressure today and tomorrow to do something. I think every team in the Atlantic Division is under pressure to do something. Boston turned its season around. They have to do something, I think, to help themselves, or else they're going to be back in the same boat as they were not even a month ago. Knicks, I think, are under pressure to do something of some sort, whether it's a buyer's move or a seller's move. They're still in the mix in the Eastern Conference for the play-in tournament spot. Yeah, they're starting to go towards out of it. So they're 2.5 back. So they're almost out of it, the Knicks. So maybe there's some pressure on them to make some sellers moves now. Philly obviously is Philly. There's always going to be pressure on Philly to make a move. And then Brooklyn's probably under the most pressure in that division because of the big three and how dysfunctional that's been for the last few months and perhaps this whole season. The Central Division, I think we've seen a lot of action. I think Milwaukee's under a little pressure to get somebody out from the buyout market. I think Indiana and Cleveland are fine. I think Chicago has to do something. Detroit doesn't really have to move Jeremy Grant. They can do that in the summer, perhaps as well, because then there would be more suitors. And then you have the Southeast Division. We talked about the Wizards. We'll see if they do anything. They're a 1.5 back of Atlanta for that last play-in spot. And then you have the Western Conference. We talked about how players feel there's pressure on the Lakers to make a move. I think the Clippers did their part. Sacramento's just a mess. We talked about them yesterday on the special show. The Warriors don't have to do anything, neither do the Suns. The Southwest Division, I think Dallas has to do something to help Luka. I think the Pelicans are fine. The Thunder, if I'm them, I try to make your move in the summer because it's pointless to do it at the trade deadline because you're not going anywhere this year and you want to be bad. Houston's got to trade Eric Gordon, you would have to think. And in San Antonio, I think will remain status quo because they're still in the mix for the play-in tournament. So they should stay put, I think. And then the Northwest Division, Portland blew it up. But now they're talking about Jeremy Grant. We'll see if Utah replaces Joe Ingles somehow, some way. We'll see if Denver makes an addition. And then you also have Minnesota, who has been surprisingly decent this year. So we'll see if they make a move of some sort as well. And then we forgot about the Grizzlies in the Southwest Division because OKC's in the Northwest Division. Southwest Division is Memphis. Memphis has the assets to make a trade, but you don't want to mess with what's brewing if you're Memphis. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. All right, news and notes time. We'll go through everything rapid fire. So the Steelers have requested to interview Colts college scouting director Morocco Brown for their general manager's job. So the Steeler GM job is something to keep an eye on, obviously. Dame Lillard says goodbye to CJ. We knew this day would come. That's sad. New NBA All-Star Skills Challenge. 3 teams of 3 players. And it's the Antetokounmpo brothers versus the Cavs versus rookies. So that's pretty cool. And the NBA 3-point contest lineup is out. You have Desmond Bain, Luke Kennard, Zach LaVine, CJ McCollum, Patty Mills, Karl Anthony Towns, Fred VanVleet, and Trae Young. So that's a nice lineup. I'm surprised Curry's not in it. I miss Curry and Clay in that thing every year. The NBA unveils the GOAT coaches, the 15 top coaches in league history. So this is pretty neat. Red Auerbach, Larry Brown, Chuck Daly, Red Holzman, Phil Jackson, Casey Jones, Steve Kerr, Don Nelson, Greg Popovich, Jack Ramsey, Pat Riley, Doc Rivers, Jerry Sloan, Eric Spoelstra, and Lenny Wilkins. I think that's a nice list. I think Steve Kerr got on this list courtesy of Golden State winning 3 titles in his first 4 years and being in 4 straight finals. So there's going to be people rolling their eyes at Steve Kerr on this list, but what he did was impressive. And good for Eric Spoelstra for being on this list because some people look at him like they look at Steve Kerr as a product of great talent. And Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. I'm happy that he's on this list. And Greg Popovich is the best coach in NBA history, in my opinion. I think Phil Jackson was great too, but I think he hurt his legacy with the Knicks when he was their president of basketball operations. So I think that hurt his legacy a little bit and his talent evaluation. Meanwhile, Greg Popovich was able to do both at the same time and is still doing both at the same time and doing very well. So you can't convince me that Greg Popovich isn't the best coach in NBA history. I'm sorry. He's fantastic. And in the case against Phil Jackson is that he also had the best basketball player of all time on his team and the second best basketball player of the century on his team in Kobe Bryant with the Lakers. So I think that having Kobe and Jordan hurt Phil and doing such a poor job with the Knicks hurt his reputation a little bit as well. And Doc Rivers is interesting. He's only won one title in his coaching career, which was with the Celtics. But that guy just wins everywhere he goes. I think he's done an excellent job this year, despite all the Ben Simmons noise and whatnot. I think this year is one of his better coaching jobs. I know Embiid's on his team and all, but he's helping develop guys like Tyrese Maxey and Matthias Thybulle. So I think Doc has proven that he can coach in any situation. So good for Doc Rivers to be on this list. 76ers hope that Brooklyn sees the light before Thursday's trade deadline instead of losing James Harden to free agency. I think Daryl Morey's just obsessed with James Harden. Literally. I said that on yesterday's show. Joel Embiid's cryptic viral tweet says, Joel Troll Embiid is living up to his Twitter name ahead of Thursday's trade deadline. He's just so funny on social media. Steve Nash not expecting trades as he's doubled down on his Harden comments and believes the roster will remain the same through Thursday's deadline. I agree, except I think they'll pick up a buyout guy somehow. Tuukka Rask may retire this week as he isn't expected to continue comeback attempt and could finalize retirement decision in a few days. So much for that. We mentioned it earlier, Bradley Beal done for the year will get season-ending surgery on left wrist. That's unfortunate. So if anything, they're going to trade Bradley Beal in the offseason. Because I don't see a world where Bradley Beal opts out, especially with that injury now. He's going to opt in and they should trade him. Klay Thompson won't play tonight against the Jazz, but will play Thursday against the Knicks. Gordon Hayward out indefinitely due to a left ankle sprain. So that's predictable. Gordon Hayward's always hurt every year. Lincoln Riley says that they didn't take OU players and took players from the transfer portal. He's right, but it's a coincidence that they got a lot of Oklahoma players. Mike Vrabel and general manager John Robinson got contract extensions, well-deserved. Mike Vrabel did a fantastic job this year coaching the Titans, and John Robinson did a great job this year building that team despite the early playoff exit. And they've done a great job over the last few years. The Giants to hire former Ravens defensive coordinator Wink Martindale to the same position. Good hire by Brian DeBall. I think he's better than Patrick Graham personally. So I think they got an upgraded defensive coordinator personally. And I think Martindale's done a great job with the Ravens over the past several years. And John Harbaugh, I think, can come to regret this one down the road. No criminal charges for Trevor Bauer for allegedly punching and choking woman during sex, and the league's investigation is still open. So we'll see how that plays out. And obviously, baseball, they're still working on trying to put the season together. And the LA Sparks are signing Jordan Canada. So the Sparks are right up there with the Mercury among the teams to beat in the WNBA going into the season. I need to have Jeff Maggs on. I keep saying it every time I talk about the WNBA on the show. Maybe next week. And non-sports news, Governor Hochul expected to announce the end of business mask mandates today. So that is a good thing for New York. And now the next question is, when will they follow suit with Governor Murphy in New Jersey and Ted Lamont in Connecticut with lifting the mask mandate in schools? because I think that is a huge deal. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. Tough one today. Very tough. Yesterday was a winner with St. Louis minus the points against LaSalle. So I'm now 3-4 in February. So to try to get back to 500 here, I'm going to go to the NBA. This is one that I like a lot, but this is a bet for a player and against a team that just blew up their roster. A bet against the Blazers and a bet on LeBron James. I'm laying the 8.5 with the Lakers against Portland. So that's it for today's show. I'll be back on Thursday, which is tomorrow, recapping everything from today, looking ahead to tomorrow. We will do some golf with the Phoenix Open, as that will begin tomorrow. So we'll do picks for that. And then obviously news and notes and best bet as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.